بحفظ القيادة السورية على أرواح مواطنينا وأمن بلدنا.
Assad does not have significant military capability.
إذا قتلونا مع اللبن نروح بيتنا.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on FutureTV. I'm Lina Tamim and these are today's top stories. 4 people are killed in a firefight in the eastern Lebanese city of Baalbek, including 2 Hezbollah militants. As many as 40 Lebanese are believed to have died in a boat accident off the coast of Indonesia as they were trying to make their way to Australia. And the UN Security Council votes to secure and destroy Syria's chemical weapons stockpile. 2 of Hezbollah's militants have been killed in a firefight with members of a Sunni clan in eastern Lebanon. A security official says members of the Shia family opened fire at a Hezbollah checkpoint in the center of Baalbek, provoking militants to return fire. The incident led to clashes that killed 2 Hezbollah members and wounded 5 people. The incident was the second this week in Baalbek, a stronghold of the powerful Shiite movement across the border from Syria. On Wednesday, Hezbollah militants traded fire with Shia clan members at the same checkpoint. 2 passers-by and a Hezbollah member were wounded. A local official from Akkar says that as many as 40 people, Lebanese, may have died in a boat accident off the coast of Indonesia. At least 17 Lebanese, including a number of children, have drowned yesterday on their way to Australia from Indonesia in a boat carrying around 80 people from different nationalities. Hamza Aboud, a spokesman from the home villages of many of the victims, says there are 25 survivors and others still missing. Aboud adds that all numbers are still estimations and no official records of the casualties and survivors are official. Prime Minister Najib Mikati has tasked the Lebanese embassy in the Indonesian capital of Jakarta with returning victims to Lebanon. A 13-month-old infant has died this morning after a residential building in the Hayya Sillum neighborhood of Beirut's southern suburbs caught fire. The blaze destroyed the whole apartment that is on the 3rd floor in the Dahi neighborhood. A security source says Wajiha Hassan Haidar was in her parents' house when the fire erupted. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. The UN Security Council has voted unanimously to secure and destroy Syria's chemical weapons stockpile. The vote late on Friday was the first resolution passed on the Syrian conflict since it began in March of 2011, after Russia and China had previously vetoed 3 Western-backed resolutions pressuring President Bashar al-Assad's regime to end the violence. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon told the Council immediately after the vote that he aimed to hold long-sought talks aimed at organizing a political transition in Syria in mid-November. Syria's ambassador to the UN, Bashar Jafari, says the government is fully committed to attending the proposed peace conference.
The Security Council has just adopted the resolution 2118. The Syrian government acknowledges the positive endeavor that led to this consensual language. It is regrettable, however, that some delegations have already started to provide a self-inflicted negative interpretation to the resolution in order to derail it from its lofty purposes.
The Security Council has shown that when we put aside politics for the common good, we are still capable of doing big things. Provided this resolution is fully implemented, we will have eliminated one of the largest chemical weapons programs on Earth from one of the most volatile places on Earth.
So it is vital that the Council now builds on the consensus we have reached today to make progress towards a sustainable resolution of the crisis. With renewed purpose and resolve, we need to achieve a political transition. And that is why I welcome the fact that we have, as the Secretary General said earlier, agreed among the permanent members of the Security Council to aim for a mid-November date for the start of Geneva II.
As the number of Syrian children refugees tops 1 million, UNICEF tells the story of some from the Zatari refugee camp in Jordan. Around 760,000 of the children are under the age of 11, and more than 3,000 of those cross the border without their parents.
Za'atari refugee camp in Jordan, Syrian children are beginning to imagine a life beyond the conflict that has driven them from their homes. The classroom is a haven for these young ones caught in the largest refugee crisis the world has seen in 20 years. After visiting the children, UNICEF Director of Emergency Programs Ted Chibin said 12,000 are registered for school in Za'atari, but there should be 40,000.
We're going into the new school year in September, where most children around the world are thinking, oh, I'm going back to school, I'm going to see my friends. And yet for the Syrian child, for many Syrian children, they're worried about security, they're worried about displacement, they're worried about what's going to happen to them.
The children told UNICEF Director of Communication Paloma Escudero that they were grateful to be safe in Jordan, but they yearned for the normalcy of their old lives.
They want to go back to normal life. They want to go back to being in a school, to play with their friends, to have a normal life for their parents. And I think that that's what we owe these children, to go back to a safe environment, to go back to school, to go back to a healthy and safe life.
Za'atari is now the second largest refugee camp in the world. It's home to more than half of the 600,000 refugees who flooded into Jordan. And it's just one part of the regional crisis that threatens to overwhelm the countries that border Syria. For Mr. Chibin, who grew up in Lebanon during that country's civil war, the visit brought back memories.
It breaks my heart to see what's going on in Syria, to see children from different sects and different religious groups no longer be able to be with each other. But I have also come from a country which has come back from the brink of such a situation, which has rebuilt after such a conflict. And so there is hope for the Syrian child.
With no end to the conflict in sight and a funding shortfall, UNICEF and its partners have appealed to the global community to do more to give Syrian children the future they deserve. This is Chris Niles reporting. For more information, visit unicef.org.
And still to come in our program, the Greek far-right Golden Dawn Party leader is arrested on charges of forming a criminal organization. Stay tuned for the details. Welcome back. U.S. President Barack Obama says he has spoken by phone with his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani, making the call the first conversation between any U.S. and Iranian president since 1979. Obama, speaking from the White House, says after speaking with Rouhani that he believes the two countries could reach a comprehensive solution over Iran's nuclear program. The president says he and Rouhani had both directed their teams to work quickly to pursue an agreement. He says the U.S. will coordinate closely with its allies, including Israel, which considers an Iranian nuclear weapon capability to be an existential threat. Iran and UN officials have been meeting to continue talks on how to investigate suspicions that Iran has worked secretly on trying to develop nuclear weapons, claims which are denied by Tehran. At least 4 people have been killed in Sudan when security forces opened fire on demonstrators as thousands marched through the streets of the capital in continuing protests over fuel price hikes. About 3,000 people, angered by a police crackdown on previous protests, also demonstrated after Friday prayers in Khartoum's twin city, Omdurman, chanting anti-regime slogans. Clashes also took place in the city of Wad Medani. Police have confirmed that 4 civilians have been killed, but blame the deaths on unknown shooters. At least 700 people involved on Friday's demonstrations were also arrested. And in Pakistan, a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit the southwest of the country, killing at least 12 people in a region already devastated by a tremor, which left more than 300 people dead this week. Officials fear the death toll could rise in Auradawan, the poorest district in the southwest province of Balochistan, again. Moving on to Europe, Greek police have arrested the leader of the Greek far-right Golden Dawn Party on charges of forming a criminal organization, as well as 15 other members of its party. Police says Nikos Michalogiakos, the party's Secretary General, was arrested along with Ilias Kassidiaris, the party's spokesperson, 2 other members of parliament, and other party members. They're due to appear in court this weekend to be formally charged. The police counterterrorism unit is currently looking for the deputies, and more warrants are expected. The arrest comes 11 days after the killing of a left-wing activist rapper by an alleged Golden Dawn Party member. The party has denied any links to the killing, and Mialo Liakos has warned the party could pull its 18 lawmakers from parliament if the crackdown does not stop. In West Africa, Senegal's energy transformation is beginning at home. The World Bank is supporting a government energy project which includes a locally made cook stove, saving money for women across the country. The cook stove uses less charcoal, benefiting the environment and providing additional opportunities for women to become entrepreneurs. Take a look.
In a way, Senegal's energy transformation starts here, with Maimouna Diène preparing a family meal at her home on the outskirts of the capital, Dakar. She has a new cook stove that cuts her consumption of charcoal in half. That saves her an average of 50 cents per meal, which means she has more money to feed her 9 children.
What I save on charcoal let me buy more rice and pay for other expenses besides food.
Maimouna's stove is made and sold locally at reduced cost. Available through a government energy project financed in part by the World Bank, they are part of a wider effort to change how Senegal produces and consumes energy. Buying and selling the stoves are providing opportunities for women entrepreneurs. As consumers like Maimouna use less charcoal and save money, far from Dakar, rural producers are making more money while protecting the environment. The landscape around Senegal's Tambacounda region was once stripped of trees that were burned for charcoal. But now, villagers, many of them women, are learning to produce charcoal as a sustainable resource. For instance, cashew seedlings will grow quickly into trees. Dead branches can be transformed into charcoal, and the nuts will provide additional income. Marietou Ndiaya, a mother of 7, once sold firewood as fuel. But now she burns dead branches into charcoal. City dwellers pay more for her charcoal than they did for firewood.
When I sell a truck of charcoal, I can make twice the amount of money I got from selling wood. So I stopped selling wood.
With the money earned from recent charcoal sales, Marietou bought freezers and now makes extra money for her family by selling frozen treats. The energy project, along with the rural electrification program, is transforming lives of some 250,000 Senegalese. Villages like Marietou's are being connected to the national grid, allowing women and their families greater access to a number of services and to a wider world. Elsewhere in Africa, in Mali, Benin, Tanzania, and Kenya, similar energy projects are being undertaken. So from a new cook stove to improved charcoal production to better livelihoods, Senegal is transforming its economy, its landscape, and the lives of its people, especially women, the major consumers of energy, determined to lift their families out of poverty.
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. 4 people are killed in a firefight in the eastern Lebanese city of Baalbek, including 2 Hezbollah militants. As many as 40 Lebanese are believed to have died in a boat accident off the coast in Indonesia as they were trying to make their way to Australia. And finally, the UN Security Council votes to secure and destroy Syria's chemical weapons stockpile. Those are your Saturday headlines from Future Television live in Beirut. I'm Lina Tamim, wishing you all a very nice weekend.
من حفظ القيادة السورية على أرواح مواطنينا وأمن بلدنا.
Assad does not have significant military capability.
إذا قتلونا مع اللبن نروح البيت